Hi everyone, my name's Evan Derdall with Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. Today I'm going to discuss our Precision Irrigation Technologies program at CSIDC. This program is looking at various remote sensing technologies and different methods to control variable rate irrigation systems. So what is precision irrigation? Well, essentially, a traditional irrigation system applies a uniform rate of water as it travels throughout the field. Under precision irrigation, the user has the ability to program a prescription into the pivot, allowing the system to turn on and off particular nozzles to adjust the rate of water in each zone throughout the field. As you can see in this video, we have pre-programmed a precision irrigation system prescription that is turning on and off the sprinklers as it's moving slowly throughout the field. This on and off timing adjusts the rate at which water is being delivered to the field itself. Precision irrigation is beneficial in that it allows producers to avoid low spots, roads. It also allows the user to try to better apply irrigation water to where it's needed throughout the field. By doing so, this increases the overall water use efficiency and water use management ability of the producer, and in some cases improve yields, reduce water use and energy use of the pumping system, and just overall enhance the environmental impact of irrigation systems. So what work do we still need to do on variable rate irrigation systems? Well, currently, variable rate is still in its infancy and in adoption throughout the province of Saskatchewan. There's more systems located in Alberta and Manitoba, but that's usually associated with higher value systems such as potato production. In Saskatchewan and in other provinces, most of the management or the prescription development of variable rate irrigation systems is associated with avoiding low spots or roads and trying to get back that lost acres that sometimes get flooded out under normal irrigation cycles. Currently, most of the variable rate prescription development is associated with soil texture, EM38 maps, or topography. Again, this is just a one-off map at the start of the year. So you may be applying that rate throughout you may be using that map throughout the season, but it doesn't change. So what we are looking at is new technologies, remote sensing technologies that gives users the ability to adjust these VRI prescriptions throughout the season. One of these indicators is canopy temperature. So essentially, when your crop is well watered and has increased evapotranspiration, it allows the canopy of the crop to cool itself compared to the air temperature. If the crop is insufficient water, it does not have the ability to transpire and cool, so it will actually heat up and become closer to the temperature of the surrounding air. Advances in thermal technology, such as thermal cameras and satellite-based thermal sensors, have allowed us to better monitor the canopy temperature using these systems, and thus giving us the ability to implement these type of management technologies into variable rate irrigation. So our research is currently being conducted at the CSIDC demonstration field, which is located about 2 miles east of the CSIDC main farm. The portion that is being looked at is about 20 to 30 acres in the southwest corner of the demonstration field. This field this year was seeded to wheat. It has a fairly high variability in soil texture and topography with the seams of sand and overlaying traditional topsoil. There are some areas of good production, so we have been utilizing this field for the last few years as it will give us a good variability to test out some of these technologies. So within this 30 acre portion of the field, we've subdivided into high, low, and medium productivity zones. So these zones generally follow the soil texture maps, but also some of the topography within this section of the field. So within these zones, we've installed a number of monitoring stations. So we're looking at things like soil moisture throughout the growing season. We're going to look at canopy temperature, and we're also going to look at the NDVI values of the crop canopy. So that's a general indicator of how healthy the crop is. So this is a image of one of our monitoring stations. So the two sensors on the top, one is an NDVI sensor, one is a thermal infrared radiometer, so it's giving us canopy temperature. And we also have a stratified soil moisture sensors within the profile. So we're looking at soil moisture at 4 levels down to 2 feet. This is on wheat this year, and all these values are logged throughout the season. So we have this this exact setup replicated at 9 locations throughout the field. We've also installed a tower at the edge of the field. On this tower, which is located approximately 100 feet in the air, we have a thermal camera that is taking time-lapse pictures of the field, so we can see how the canopy temperature changes across the field over a number of days, and how the daytime and nighttime temperature changes depending on water availability. We haven't yet looked at those results, but they should be fairly interesting to see how that the day-night diurnal effects on the canopy temperature are going to come out. Just some preliminary. So as you can see, here's an RGB ortho mosaic of the 30 acres. You can see a significant variability in canopy density. Again, those lines are traditionally caused by some overlying sand ridges that have low water holding capacity and low nutrient capacity or lower fertility. Below is the NDVI map of that same image. The darker green, it shows relatively healthy, dense canopy of the wheat. The yellow spots are thin or a little bit less healthy canopy, and the red are bare soil or very thin canopy or relatively low productivity areas. So looking at some preliminary results, just for observation purposes, we have 2 images. These both were taken on July 28th. The top one is from 10 a.m. in the morning. Bottom one is from approximately 2 a.m. in the afternoon. What's interesting is you can see that the areas, you can see distinctly the areas of higher productivity should be in the darker blue color. That means it's a lower temperature, means that the crop in that area is transpiring properly and reducing the canopy temperature compared to air temperature, and vice versa. You can see the areas of lower productivity are a little bit hotter. But what's interesting is, in the morning in the area of low productivity, we have a canopy temperature of approximately 33 degrees, but in the afternoon it goes up to almost 38. So that's about a 4.5, 5 degree increase in those 4 hour period. But from that same time and same field, we're seeing the healthy area go from about 24, 25 to 25.5. So that's only about a 1% increase. So you can see how if you have good productivity um, and more than likely good water availability, the plant has the ability to better regulate its temperature. So as we further look at some of these values and some of this data, we're hoping to determine at what point do we need to trigger irrigation, or how is canopy, if canopy temperature can give us a good indicator of when we need to irrigate. So how is this information going to be used? Once we've completed this research, we're going to make this all this information available to producers. We're going to update the irrigation scheduling manual for Saskatchewan. For those who haven't got a copy, the irrigation manual came out early this year. So you can either contact myself or contact somebody at the irrigation office downtown with the province. They'll have a number of copies. But we'll be providing information on canopy temperatures and how this information can be used and how to integrate it into your irrigation scheduling practices. We're also looking at improving our Irrigation software. So again, for those who haven't used this is a free online software that we developed in partnership with the province of Saskatchewan through funding with ADF, that's using free satellite information to estimate crop water use, crop water availability. But it's our hope that as satellite technology improves, we can integrate the thermal portion in this, which will give us a little bit better indicator of not only crop water stress areas, but when we should be irrigating. We're also going to work with third parties. There are service providers out there providing satellite mapping. As satellites improve and new satellites come online, they will have improved thermal capabilities. We're also working with some irrigation sensor technology companies, one of which is looking at integrating some of the multispectral and thermal information to automate the system. So a producer would lay out kind of ballpark or a target moisture for their entire field, and then the system will go around sensing, and eventually through machine learning and artificial intelligence will adjust the prescription on the fly to try to meet that target laid out by the producer. So there still needs to be some work done. We currently have an MSc candidate, Emily Klein, with the University of Saskatchewan. She's going to be looking at analyzing all this data that we've been taking in this year, and hopefully help us develop some of the recommendations required for implementing thermal sensing for irrigation scheduling purposes. We have an additional field season scheduled. This project's being funded through the Saskatchewan Agricultural Development Fund, ADF. So we're going to be either looking at a soybean or more likely another canola season. We're also going to continue to work and look at newer crops. Potatoes are likely going to be in the future, as this high value crop is going to probably drive adoption and the need for these type of technologies going forward. We need to look at the economics of this work, see how variable rate irrigation is it worth it to implement it on your field? Um, and again, we're going to further work on the integration of these type of this data with third parties or internally into materials that the farmer can easily use. So that's my presentation. I want to thank everybody for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at evan.derdall@agr.gc.ca or give me a call at 306-241-2850. Thank you.